In the Durham board, I truly see a celebration of diversity. I truly see an inclusion, this desire to work together, and not to make us all the same, but actually to celebrate the diverse things that we all bring to the table. I did not experience that in a different school system. Wow, from when I was very young, I knew I was different than most other kids in my classes. I kept feeling a little bit disenfranchised from my peers. So I was very much a quiet kid, a very introverted kid, and very much, a little bit bullied, a little bit on the margins. So school was uncomfortable for me around peers, but I loved the academic side of school. I am still friends with my elementary school music teacher. She's now in her 70s. She just made school really entertaining for me, but also just very creative and fun. And I felt really at ease in her class. I grew up on a farm. So when David and I left Toronto and bought our own farm, we are now beekeepers. And I have to say the most life-giving thing in my life is going home to this beautiful farm. It's great to learn how to be a calmer person by working with bees. They actually are really, really calm beings if you're calm. And that has a great translation into education. So I had these incredible mentors who I miss dearly. They were great teachers. Unfortunately, it was before the HIV and AIDS treatments were better and they didn't live. When I started teaching, my closest friends in my peer group of gay men, a lot of them were HIV positive and a lot of them were teachers. And they would be taking leaves of absences because they were sick. I joined a group called the AIDS Spiritual Support Network, and one of the things that we did was we would give a 5-night-a-week rotation. Basically, I gave up my apartment for an overnight so that the partner who was the caregiver of someone dying of HIV or AIDS could come and sleep in my apartment and get a good night's sleep, and I, in turn, would go to that house and I would be the caregiver overnight for that sick person. And I did this 3 different times with 3 different friends who did eventually die of HIV and AIDS. And I was new to teaching when I was spending time with these men. And a lot of them had insomnia, they couldn't sleep well at night, so just sit up on the bedside with them, play cards, talk. And they were always interested in what I was doing. And I learned so much from them. They kept saying things to me like, don't let the curriculum get in the way of your children's education. But I really, really value what they shared with me and encouraged me to be a teacher who was more present to the person. The curriculum was secondary to the people. When I first started teaching, I was very much in the closet still, and I had a theology degree. So I was teaching religion in Catholic schools. 7 years into my career, I married my partner, David Martin, and that was before gay marriage was legal. And we had a private ceremony. But as a result of that ceremony, the school board did investigate and did terminate me from my job. There was a lawsuit. They rescinded the fire in exchange for my resignation. But the message was clear. If you're going to be gay, I wasn't welcome in that system. And that was very, very disturbing to me. So I had made a decision at that point in time that never again would I be in the closet in my workplace. So when I was hired in 1999 in the Durham board, I began out. I was wearing my wedding ring to work. I was talking about my spouse with my colleagues, with my students. And it really turned out to be a great advantage. David also became a teacher in the Durham board, and David and our union and the dialogue with our board, we started the Gay Straight Alliances in Durham. It was so much better for me to be out at work. The anxiety that I used to have being closeted at work in a religious system was gone. And all of this positive energy that I had now around being proud of who I am as a gay man, being proud of who I am as a teacher, I was able to actually use that creative energy in a positive way within the schools. And I think our schools have been better off for it. I have met so many gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans students, other staff members, and the fact that we can be ourselves with each other and tell our stories with each other is very, very affirming. Education, first of all, is my one single hope around changing anything in the world. Whether it's educating people about climate change, educating people about whatever the social issues are that need to be, brought to light. I'd say specifically in the last 15 years, there have been enormous changes in education, especially for students and people with sexual minorities, from sexual minorities. That said, what makes me sad still is that the statistics for young people who identify as GLBT, their risk for suicide is still far, far higher than that of other students. There is still the stigma of being rejected. There are still students that I teach and work with whose family members have ostracized them because they've come out. So I think that's why it's all the more important that our schools offer a safe zone for these students, that there are staff that they can talk to, that there are friends and colleagues and groups that they can go to where they get the supports that they need. My name is Joseph Stellpflug. I'm a Centers for Success teacher with the Durham District School Board at Durham College, and this is my story.